Hello, everybody. Hello, BBS90. How you doing today? Thanks for joining me live. Thank you, everyone that are joining me live today. Today is the first prompt that I'm doing for this brand new month prompt list, which is all about action pauses. So last month we did stuff about portraiture, and we've been doing portraiture a lot. So I thought let's do full body this month, and yeah, so I kind of warmed up. These are my warm-up sketches that you can't see right now, and my goal is to create some more refined lines with you guys today. I want to say hi to artists Jivan and Ivan P. Marinu. Hi guys. And David and Animate. Hi guys on Instagram. You can always join me wherever you want to be, on Instagram or on YouTube. YouTube, you'll be able to see I have also references on my left. So you'll be able to see the references that I'm using for today, which are these references found on Pinterest. I want to say hi to Boni Tale Moni Tabomba. How you doing? All right. So yeah, I'm just making sure that I can see the entire chat while painting. Give me a second. Moving things around a little bit. Okay. There we go. That's better. Give me a little bit more space here. Awesome. You can join me and paint with me, draw with me if you want to. The idea is to do the prompt of the day, which is falling. That's the action pause that I'm going to do today. And without any further ado, let's do this. I've been busy all week. Couldn't paint or draw or do anything creative. So I'm pretty darn happy to be able to do a little bit of art today with you guys. Gonna pick up an action action pose, and yeah, start that. I really like this one. So it's been a while since I did some sketches for like practices, but let's see. Always important when you're doing these kind of like pauses, gesture. In my case, I'm probably gonna have like many layers, and I'm gonna try to just kind of like understand the gesture of the entire pose. And once I understand it, I'll be adding details to it to make it pretty, and maybe I'll even add some lighting to it. I want to say hi to Antonique. How you doing? On YouTube. So yeah, one thing that really works well for me usually is to kind of edit as I go, in the sense that I don't try to do it perfect, and I kind of make like a I make sure that that's my thinking. I'm like, I don't want it to be perfect, which reduces the stress of doing it in the first place. Like that hand, for example, I'm just going to I don't know, just gotta put like a few lines for now. I'll come back later to it. Just trying to focus on gesture, movement, and shapes. I know a lot of artists, they swear by doing a lot of these under like a very short amount of time. It never really worked for me. Like, I always find it more frustrating than anything else. Not that it's not a good exercise, but I kind of like to work on the same illustration and make it prettier as I go by adding more love to it. So I think there's a version of me where I would probably just start this gesture with just a quick gesture drawing and then refine it. But the gesture drawing is kind of in my head, like I understand the gesture, right? So I just do it as I kind of add details. Yeah. So what I've been doing this week, I'm working on the back end to kind of plan the illustration from imagination program that we're going to open the doors. I know I've been talking about it last week, but the idea is to open the doors in March this year. If you want to be on the waiting list and have priority access, as we open usually the door only once a year, I put a form directly on the registration page for now, so you can go and put yourself on the list, and I will email you whenever we are ready to launch. It's paintable.cc/IFI IFI-registration. If you go on the Paintable website, you'll have a link to it, paintable.cc. Well, when it concerns my drawing right here, so this is what I like to call the loose sketch. It's usually a mix of like gesture and forms and what I understand of it all. And I'm going to add a layer on top of that of detail and correction. Bonjour, how are you feeling today? From the only frog. Je vais bien. I'm doing good. How you doing? Thanks for joining. So yeah. Now that I have this, I'll probably be adding some more love to it and paint on top of it and correct a few things and whatnot. Usually I like to make a copy, keep the backup copy, which I rarely use, but just keep it just in case. And then I go ahead and delete that and I paint on top of it, because I like my lines to kind of accumulate. It gives like a nice effect to it. And then from there, we'll try to just be a little bit more precise with the line work. I want to make sure I got the right gesture, which, I mean, it could be exaggerated a little bit more, I think, but overall it's kind of okay. You've been pleasant yourself. That's great. The only frog. Let me know. Is that your first time joining the live? I don't remember having a chat with you. And are you drawing as we speak, or only watching? I was asking the question last week to people on the call, and people were saying that they enjoy simply watching, which is great. But I'm always happy when people are drawing with me. It makes me feel like we're drawing together. Which the importance of having peers and friends and people, participating into your hobbies. I think it's a huge part of what people like in any activity, no matter if it's art or sports. It's always fun to kind of being part of something that's bigger than yourself. This is why I built the tribe. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's the Discord server for people of the Paintable tribe, the Paintable community. Should be a link wherever you are, either under the video or in the bio on Instagram. So what am I doing here? I'm kind of putting the fingers together in the middle. It's a nice way to create some nice shape. Maybe it's been 2 weeks actually. Oh. Well, it's nice to finally meet you. What software do you use? Buy one. I'm using Photoshop. This question gets answered every week. I'm using Photoshop, but it's funny how I feel like people don't understand how the software doesn't change much. Like it doesn't matter. Just Paint X. Yeah, it doesn't change much. Whatever software you decide to use to paint, most software will do the job. It's a question of finding something that you like to work with. And for that, it's about spending a little bit of time to understand whatever software you decide to go with. There's a lot of people that take my classes. They're using Procreate, and they're perfectly fine following me that is using Photoshop. Like there's a lot of tools that they're just very similar. Buy one recent purchase. What do you mean by recent purchase? Let me know. think I really like the way the fingers are bundled here. I'm just gonna make sure that the pinky is a little bit more defined. Do you think creativity can be thought? Yes, I do think that creativity can be thought. Matter of fact, I think there's a lot of people, including myself, that spend a lot of time, you know, learning their skills, learning their software, learning a bunch of things that in the surface looks like these will make you more creative. But the reality is creation itself and having good concepts is a skill by itself, which isn't thought, unfortunately, to a lot of places. But yeah, I definitely think it can be thought. It's a skill like any other skill and can be learned and mastered and thought. I actually talk about it a little bit in the Illustration for Imagination program. We start from a brief, and my vision on it is that if you treat every illustration that you do like it's professional work, with having a brief, for example, or just thinking about it like on a professional level. Even if you're not a professional, it will help you to get more creative because you're going to work with constraints, and constraints are a huge part of creativity. When you have a blank canvas and you have infinity possibilities, most of the time you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to do nothing. But if you have a few constraints, then it gives you a direction, and the creativity part comes when you have constraint and suddenly you have to do something to pass them. And that's where creativity is the most used. An example I can give is painting with less colors. If you want to paint with less colors, you'll think about how I can use these colors to make this illustration still vibrant and interesting to look at with the right contrast and everything. You might focus more on your lighting because of it. You might focus more on your perspective or your composition because of it, right? So you take out one piece and then suddenly it's like being like blind, which would be terrible for an artist or for anyone really. But when you're blind, apparently your ears become a lot more sensitive, and vice versa. I would assume, right? I guess if you lose your hearing, your eyes would get a lot more active. So that's what constraint does. It forces you to use other senses, other skills, and creativity is a huge part of it. At least that's what I'm thinking. Thanks for the question. It's a great question. Baiwan, you said just started using Photoshop, just asking, learning. There's a lot of things to learn. If you are just learning, I can definitely recommend the Digital Painting Academy, not to praise my own church, but in there, I'm going to take you from teaching you all the commands, all the shortcuts, through exercises, and by the first module in the Digital Painting Academy, you'll master everything that you need to know to do digital painting, and then starts the work of actually creating. So if you're interested, I would point you there. You'll have a lot of great stuff there. I'm a mobile animator who use Ibis Paint X. I never used it. I know of the word, of the name, but I never used it, so I cannot compare. Unfortunately, animate. But yeah, any software I think is useful. See something missing here? Like the proportions are kind of okay, but there's supposed to have like an elbow here. It's just on my reference. I think it's stuck in the shadow, so I don't see it. So I'm just gonna place a few cross contour lines here to kind of indicate that this shape is kind of overlapping this shape. So it feels a little bit more in perspective. I might play with the and that's what I like to do with usually my studies. I like to kind of like change them a little bit. I feel like all of this should be here. Goes with the chin here, which kind of too big. And I might just try to have fun with the tie. Could be fun. Because for those people on Instagram, the tie is stuck to him in the reference, but this helps to accentuate the emotion. Yeah. So that's interesting. All right. Let's zoom out a little, see what we're doing. If you're participating into this month challenge and you're doing gesture action poses with me, I would definitely recommend also warming up. I was showing at the beginning my warm-up, and these warm-up are like, they're not pretty or anything really, they're just warm-up, but they're kind of essential to get the ugly face out of the way, because every artist has an ugly face, especially when you're doing like your first illustration of the day and you haven't warmed up. It's good to have just one or two illustration that you just do fast and let go of the outcome, let go of your expectations. I want to say hi to dieruko.art. Hola, how you doing? Let's try to make the shoe shape a little bit better. Shoes and feet are usually really hard, I think, to everybody. It's like hands. They get complicated in perspective. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the outline, and then I'm going to add some some colors to it, but I might kind of mix what we were doing last week, which was monochromatic stuff. You're welcome, Dieruko. You're welcome. So yeah, last week we were doing monochromatic portraitures, and my thinking is maybe I could have a mix and do a monochromatic figure, which ultimately wouldn't take as much time as rendering it all, so I might be able to do more than one figure, and still kind of add a little bit of TLC, which stands for it's care and love. The first one is I don't remember what the first one. If you're with me live, what's the T of TLC means for? Let me know. All right, I'm going to, I think, put a shadow to this guy. Just a little bit of a shadow. Tender. Thank you, BBS. Tender. Tender, care, love. TLC. All right. Little shadow here. Alondra, you're absolutely welcome. You say your content is way too helpful. Wait until we start challenges this year. I'm telling you, I got some good stuff, but I already appreciate the comment. Thank you so much. But I got so much more to give. It's all coming up. I'm telling you, I've been working really hard this week on both the launch for Iffy, which obviously will be premium and paid, but with also a free part event that will come right before it. So keep your eyes glued to the newsletter week, the weekly newsletter, and the different social medias of Paintable. I'll be talking about this real soon. That was the reason why I couldn't draw this week. I'm preparing some good stuff for you guys, which is exciting. It's always exciting to start a new year and just plan the challenges that we'll do. I also have the cards that unfortunately I had to put on hold because I need to plan the year first, otherwise I'll be late on everything. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up. All right, let's do some monochromatic kind of stuff here. I think I'm going to use some pale beigey background for these. Maybe real pale, something like that. What display do you use? I am working on an amazing Huion tablet, and it's been about two years, maybe a little bit more, that I'm using this tablet. It's a Canvas Pro 24-inch 4K. Yeah, that's what it is, from Huion. And I love it. I used to work on a desktop tablet and it was fine. I was doing everything that I could with this. But since I switched to this tablet, I really find more joy into painting. And it was quite the learning curve at the beginning, because I was certainly not used to to using a screen tablet. I was not used to looking at my hand. How funny that sound. I was used to drawing on the side, and then I bought myself an iPad, and I thought, all right, so maybe this is my entry to painting like you paint normally. And the iPad for me, I didn't like it. I don't know why. I didn't like it. I mean, it's fun on the go. It gives you enough stuff, and I'm sure if I spend as much time as put on my tablet, I would have find what I wanted to do with it. But I think ultimately, once you know a software, and for me, I know Photoshop very well. Once you know a software, it's just hard to go and feel as confident with another software. At least, you know, there's a learning curve, and I think I was not ready to take the time to relearn something as good as I know Photoshop. I think that was the issue for me. But all that to say that, yeah, since I've been using this Huion tablet, my joy of painting, you know, skills still takes time, and the tablet doesn't change your skill at all. But my joy of painting, just, yeah, it's a better experience. It's also very privileged to have it, so you know, it's an expensive tablet. But if you're doing this full time, or if you're planning to be eventually a professional artist, I think it can be a nice tool to have. But I'll be honest, again, I haven't used this for the first almost 7 to 8 years of my career. I didn't invest in it, and part of it was I was scared of the learning curve that I would have, because when you're like a professional artist and you're already like proficient, prolific, fast with a tool, you don't want to do work for a client and then become slower, right? So I was always pushed away to and not investing into it as maybe I should have. But yeah, now that I did, I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy with it. Let's add some basic shadows and light on this. Create a new layer. Attach that new layer to this. I feel like if I add the light, it's gonna be easier. Let me put this actually darker. Saturated, darker, saturated. And let's add the light instead. I'm gonna use the lasso tool here, because my idea is to not overcomplicate the process. And you'll see what I mean in a second. I'm just going to just kind of brush this. I'll add a little bit more, because what I realized is there's a post that I posted recently where I do a pair of pants, and I've been resharing this post a few times, and it's always working well. And I think one of the reasons is because I'm using this technique that I'm using right now, which is essentially to kind of select my light and shadow with the lasso tool. And then you have the wow kind of effect of revealing the light part with just a brush stroke. So let's see. It's a bit more light here, some there, some there, some there, some there. Oops. And the cool thing with this technique is you don't need to be like completely precise. You can just put a few shapes, and I think it should be looking pretty good. Let's test it out. I'm gonna take a saffron brush and I'm gonna take something more pale and just kind of reveal the light on it. And I'll take another one at the back and maybe kind of add some deeper shadows. And yeah, I create something that's like kind of like high contrast and very graphic. And then you can take like pieces of it to create some separations. Like I'm thinking the pants area might get just kind of darker. Right there. This back could be darker. This could be maybe darker. There could be darker. And yeah. Just having fun with it. Techi, what display do you recommend that is paper-like and easy to carry from Huion? I cannot speak for the things that I haven't tried. What I can tell you is I know Huion has a new tablet where you have touch control over it. I don't think it's portable though. That's one thing. The only portable tablet that I have personally is the iPad. I don't have one from Huion. Not that I will not do that eventually, but yeah, that's just I cannot talk from what I haven't tried yet. So unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that I cannot recommend you one at the present time. But yeah, when it comes to Huion, they got my fidelity for the time being, as I really just enjoy the product, and the prices are also much more affordable than Wacom, because I was all about Wacom before. I thought they had the best product and all that, but since I tried that Huion tablet, I just realized that yeah, they're not the only one. Do you draw on paper on tonic? I don't most of the time, but I'll tell you this. During the holiday, me and my wife decided to bust out markers, and I had such a great time kind of like doing these holiday cards with her that last week we went to the shop and we bought some more like 4 by 6 inches cards. And I think I'm gonna make it a, periodic habit of creating art on these postcards with markers. It was just so much fun to do. I thought, why not? Why not? I think I'm gonna make the tie a different color. And yeah, the reason why I don't do traditional media most of the time is it's just a question of like time, really. I'm making a living teaching digital painting, and it would be just difficult for me to get really good at one thing and then or it would be just hard for me to spend time learning some new skills, essentially. Where the cards, I'm not really learning new skills. I already know how to use these markers, and I'm just kind of playing with it more than anything. All right, I'm trying to decide of how much detail I want to put on these. I feel like this is already pretty good. What do you guys think? I could start another one. Because my goal was never to render these. I could play with some of the lines maybe and have like a few different lines of colors. Maybe for the tie. And I could use the smudge tool. Smudge tool, and kind of smudge a few of these. Transition between light and shadow. Not all of them, otherwise it's going to become just a blob, but just a few can help. Adding a little touch of rendering there and there. All right. Christian, you say, wow. Well, thanks. Appreciate it. It's always hard for me to just stop, even though like I'm pretty happy with this right now. My perfectionism sometimes just kicks in, and I'm like, all right, I could add like more love to it. But I kept things real loose, and some of it doesn't even make sense here. Like, for example, the shirt. Not too sure what's happening in there. But it's okay. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I almost treat it as like just like shapes. And it can look just the way it is, and it's just fine. Maybe having a few occlusion shadows, a few deeper shadows could help to read some of the forms, but I think it's okay otherwise. animate. Thank you. Alright, let's call it this one done. I'm gonna put all of these together into a very nice little group. Doop doop. And let's do another one, shall we? Looking. If there's one that I'm more interested. For those people on Instagram, I'm looking at the references that I gathered. I just did this one right here, which was fun. I'm thinking about doing her. Yeah, I'm gonna do her. Maybe a little sip of water. Stay hydrated. All right. So I've been advancing with my research to decide where to move. For those of you that have been following me for a little while, I've been established in Thailand for the past few years, and my wife and I decided to move to Europe. And we were thinking about doing Portugal and or Spain. But now we decided that it was going to be Spain. So we are preparing our move. What I like about this move, especially for the lives, is I'll finally be able to have, like, I think a better time for everyone. Because right now, it's tough to have Europe on these calls, unfortunately for you guys. But I should be able to do it as soon as... This is a hard one. I have no idea what's happening there. Yeah, I'll be able to do some more decent hours for Europeans. I'll be there. And these times should also work good enough for the States. Fortunately, though, unfortunately, might be a little bit harder for Asia after that. Fortunately, it's tough to have like a time zone that works for everyone. Techi, are you working on comic project before, or what kind of project do you working right now? Thanks for asking. Seriously. I am working on a card project. So if you're looking at my YouTube channel, you look at my last video, I presented the Suits of Heart. And I'm over the moon with that project. I'm really finding just a lot of creative flow in it, but I had to stop this week, and I don't think I'll be able to like do much of it all this month. I'm preparing things for the year, but I kind of give myself the entire year to... This is misplaced. I give myself the entire year to finish the project. It's 16 cards with figures plus the rest of the Pips cards it's called. And so yeah, that's what I'm working on these days. This is quite the challenge. I thought I would, I know it'd be hard, but I didn't thought it would be that hard. She's such in a weird pose. Pose. Pause? Pose. I don't know why I cannot. You know, I know why I cannot. It's because I'm mixing it with French. Because a pose et une pose, they're actually the same in English and French, which my brain cannot compute that, because usually nothing is the same, if that makes sense. This is such a hard one. I might not colorize this one. I think it'd be too much of a pain. I might just do the exercise of sketching it, which is already pretty hard. She's got quite the hair too. The other arm is nowhere to be found. I think that's about it. Let's duplicate that. So yeah, sorry guys, I feel like I zoomed out or zoned out for a few minutes. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions or topics you want to talk about, or yeah, you need any tips about anything. I'm here to help, even though I sometimes zoned out. I'm gonna try to start with the face here. Might need a couple of sketches for this one. We'll see. right. This is a perfect example of what I was saying when we started, where I like to sometimes just kind of let go of my expectation and just place the few lines that I'm seeing, and it becomes kind of a roadmap for a better sketch afterwards. Like right now, I'm just kind of like experimenting a little bit. Some of those lines works, some don't. That's okay. I'm going to keep the limbs as much as possible into like primitive form, meaning I'm going to use cylinders, spheres, keep them simple, even the hand for now. Don't really want to get into too much details. For those interested, by the way, there's a 7-step that I usually follow. These days I follow it in my head, as in like I internalize every step. There are 7 steps that I follow to do gesture drawing, and I created a class that it's inside the Digital Painting Academy, but I also offer it now as a one-off. And it's the kind of class that I wish I definitely took earlier in my journey. It's 7 steps that by following them, it's going to give you just a roadmap on how to approach gesture drawing. I teach how to find the gesture, how to transform shapes into dynamic shapes, which helps. And I don't remember all of them right now. I'm a blank. But if you are interested, you can go to paintable.cc/store. I think it's only $27, which is pretty good. You keep lifetime access to it. Or you can join the Digital Painting Academy, and then you'll have access to all the different classes that I've created, not just this one, to help you. This one was hard. This one was hard. I'm gonna keep it as it is. Any kind of tips for personal branding? I'm assuming it says, right? Yes, branding. Let me just move that a little bit. Personal branding as an artist. I think you're kind of inspiring me. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was thinking about it. Branding, I think, is very important, but it's most of the time something that is not. It's not the first thing you need when you get started. But it's something you should think about as soon as you have a little bit of momentum. It's not about having a logo necessarily. It's about it's about having a recognizable sets of graphic elements, colors, these kind of things. And I personally, I try to keep myself as branded as possible, but I don't feel like I have the best branding for Paintable. I think I wanted to rebrand myself for years now. There's certain colors that I'm using. There's the logo, obviously, I put on everything. There's things like tone and the way I talk, and all these things are part of it. But there's some really cool branding out there that inspires me sometimes to change. All that to say that I think it's important. But if you are starting as an artist and you're starting on social media, I feel like it's better for you to concentrate on your craft and communications and posting. And branding will be kind of like coming along as you do. And you'll be able to see what works and what doesn't work for you, and then pick up from there to start making a branding exercise that is more pushed kind of thing, if that makes sense. All right, this one was hard. Let's do another one. I feel like kind of like this one or this one. I think I'm gonna do this one. I think it's interesting. So for this one, I'm gonna start with just finding the gesture even more. So there's the arm that kind of does that. Then you got the hips here that goes into the knee, which does like that, and then you have like the hair like this, and then the hand there. See, that's for me, that's enough to understand the gesture. I could have done also like just like there's one line there, ball there, then feet and whatnot, but having just a little bit more shape to it also like is used as a warm-up kind of thing. Excuse me. And when you do a quick sketch like this, it helps to visualize the places where you're gonna have hard time, and you're able to take your time to those places. But I think my proportions are pretty good. I'll have like the torso is gonna be the hardest part to just make look 3D. Hey Ray, how you doing? Welcome back. So I might start here. Just a bit of the chest and the shoulder here. Then this back of the shoulder, the back is getting larger. Can't see your lines. I think you must have a problem too zoomed in. Well, yeah, sorry. I need to zoom a little bit in. How's that? Is that better? Also, for you guys that are on Instagram, if you want to see more of the screen, join me on YouTube. We are also on YouTube right now. And you'll be able to see not only my entire screen, but also my reference pictures and my face in much bigger, which I'm not gonna lie, is a plus. I had a lot of admiration for people that did a lot of sketches and are able to just create like amazing, beautiful sketches easily. It's certainly not my case. I'm still having a hard time with my with the style of my sketches. I'm working on it though. It's constant work, which is to say, it's a reminder of appreciating the journey. Hi, dispo lessons. How much time do you spend drawing per day? You know what? It depends on the day. It depends on the week. Like I was saying at the beginning of the live, this week has been difficult for me. This is the first time I paint this week. But usually I spend at least an hour a day, and up to 8 hours. I have difficulty getting that tapered end on my brush. If you're having a hard time with having a brush that goes from small to big like this, what you need is to add, it's called, wait, what is it called? It's called dynamic. Let me go check. It's called shape dynamics. Shape dynamics. Can you see this? That shape dynamics, if you go here and you put it on pen pressure in Photoshop, but also if you have any kind of other software. So you want to do this, and then you want to put transfer. Transfer will give you pressure sensitivity over the transparency of your brushes. These two things is what you need. When did you realize and start taking the world of illustration seriously? Love the question, Techi. Thank you so much. I was 30 when I truly made a decision that I would become an illustrator. So in my 20s, I was a graphic designer. And I did like it, but the part that I didn't like was that it was just not as creative as I wished. There was a lot of client that would just have, I don't know, just clients I didn't like pretty, that helped me make my decision. Ultimately, I wanted to be just creative, and I wanted my creativity to drive everything I do. And there was a lot of work for clients as a graphic designer that was just about moving a logo and placing a little bit of text, and that was it. They already had graphic design established for them, and they didn't need me to come with new ideas and new designs and whatnot, which was ultimately the part that I enjoyed the most. So I bought myself a tablet, and I started to teach myself by just having pure interest of looking some of the artists that I really liked. One of them was Loish. She's been there forever. She was on mine on DeviantArt at the time. She was really big there. Anyhow, this is how I started to take illustration seriously. And after I made my first sale as an illustrator, I knew I had made the right decision for myself, and that I was more happy about it. Yeah. Joshua, where are you on Fiverr? I'm not on Fiverr. I'm just not on Fiverr. I personally think that being an artist and being on Fiverr is at this day and age with AI, You know, a few years ago, I would have told you like, yeah, go on Fiverr, do a few illustrations and get yourself a few clients there. But now with AI, the competition is just so fierce for these kind of jobs. I feel it's better if you spend your time on social media trying to connect with people, because at the end of the day, I think people will buy from you a lot more by hearing your stories. How did you get there? Watching like you doing your work, getting inspired, and all of these things contribute to the art. You know, I'm sure it happened to you. You saw an artist that, and that's terrible, right? I'm just going to specify that it's terrible, but we all do it. We saw an artist that we deemed like worse than us, making a killing, or with a style that we think like, you know what, I don't understand why this person gets so much attention and clients and getting paid for their art. And I had to realize that I had these thoughts myself a few years ago, and changed my approach to it. What I realized is it's not about how your art looks. It's not about the quality of the art. It's about the story that your art tells. It's about your story that you're telling. It's about stories. The way to sell to people your art or anything else is you need to make them care. If they care about what you have to say or the way the art make them feel, that's all it counts. That's it. So that's the best way. So for that reason, I'm not on Fiverr, because it's hard to make people care. And then you just compare it to an ocean of other artists that may live in regions of the world that have the possibility to charge a lot less and still have a great living as an artist, which is great. But if you're a North American, just living in New York, I think you're poor if you're making $4,000 a month. Seriously. So going on Fiverr and starting to compete with all these other artists, it's hard. One other thing that I like to teach my illustration from imagination students is how to reach clients. I do that through a masterclass that I call the Going Pro Masterclass, and it's about reaching out to them and creating those relationships, essentially, if that makes sense. Let me know if you agree or not. I'm curious to hear what you think. Satisfying to watch, really. Thanks. Appreciate that, Mojabi. I think I'm gonna add some color to this one a little bit. And Joshua, you agree with my statement. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Let's see. I also had like a couple of like sketches for reference as style that I thought I could have some fun with, but Maybe not now. Let's just put a bit of color on this. I'll take the same color that I had for the first one as the background. And I'll just do a quick selection. I like to use the lasso tool and just make some quick selections sometimes. It doesn't make the line perfect, which is, I think, part of what I like. I think I've been experimenting a lot with imperfection for the past few months. One of the reason I think is I realized that my overly perfectionism part of my brain was kind of slowing down my progress. And I think it's the case for a lot of artists. We get stuck into trying to do things that we're unsure how to do sometimes, and we try really hard and really hard and really hard, and when we don't reach it and spend lots of times on it, we get deflated. But if you kind of let go of your expectation of doing something perfectly, then you can just have some fun with it all. And most probably that you'll learn from either the mistakes you'll do or what Bob Ross was saying, the happy accident. And that's pretty interesting by itself. Oops, I need to do another layer for this. And Cam, Janine, you say that's so true and you're working on this. Yeah, letting go of expectation. We could make 2025 the year of letting go expectation. How's that? I'm sure we would all get better faster this way. I'm gonna put him on a blue background, like the reference a little bit. Like a bit of pink in it. And I'll do the same thing with the lasso tool, where I make a quick selection of the light part. What time do you start for Central Time? Can you tell me where is Central Time? Is that Europe? Because I start at the same time every week, which is an hour and 27 minutes ago. USA. Okay, I see. Yeah, so usually I start, I know the PT time, which is, I start at 6 p.m. PT. And I start at 9 p.m. PT. Sorry, 9 p.m. ET. Which is 9 a.m. for me here. It does look a little bit like a soccer player that does a scissor kick. You're right, Joshua. Or is it Joshua? You're absolutely right. Eventually he falls. Yes, that's also true. Just having some fun. I was really inspired by like I was saying, Loish, and I'm still am to this day. She has a way to do her studies that it looks like she's putting like a few lines and it creates just amazing results each time. I usually like to polish my pieces a lot more. Not that hers are not polished, they're very polished, but it's hard for me to find like that groove of like just she plays with gradients and just it looks amazing in 2 seconds. At least it feels like that. And I guess that's the beauty of every artist that you admire. Once they mastered a part of what they do, they make it feel like it's so easy. Just kind of trying to do this right now. Mojave is another favorite artist. Yes, I'm assuming you're talking about Loish. And Cam, you say interesting choice of color. Yeah, I'm kind of like just I don't know, making a mix between just hard blue shadows and skin tones somehow. I don't know if it really works, but it's a try. I think I wanted to do something that was more monochromatic, and then I kind of change my way. There's another artist, I forgot her name. She's from Ukraine, lives in France now, and she does these amazing figure drawing studies with all these different colors. She uses like blues and purples and hey Zed, how you doing? Welcome back. blues and stuff, and she's able to just render the form and the shapes with all these different colors, and I'm just always amazed by her work. Do you prefer minimal palettes? No, I don't prefer minimal palettes. I usually like to have full-on colors, but again, I think I'm using the daily fives sometimes, like I'm doing right now, as like exercises to kind of figure out something new, and I do that by just giving me the possibility to kind of fail. I think we were talking about that last week, you know, giving yourself permission to fail, so that it's not like like an invitation for you to have low standards. That's not what I'm saying, but it just gives you the permission to just try a few things without feeling stress about the final outcome, basically. And I try to do this usually with the daily fives. That's what I'm doing right now. I don't know, I'm trying some stuff. Have you done some animation into your characters? No, I saw, you know, I wanted to do animation for, funny enough, for my branding. We were talking about branding earlier. I wanted to do that for my branding because I follow, like, I have a love for graphic design because I was a graphic designer, you know, for years, and to this day, I still love graphic design. It's not because I don't love it that I stopped doing it. It was just not my calling. But I still love it and have a great passion for it. And all that to say, I was looking at a graphic designer that does all these kind of like punk style graphics and animation, and I love this. I wish I could master some of it. And he was making these super cute kind of animations for his brand, and I thought maybe I could do that at some point, but it would pull me in a different direction and ultimately make me lose time sometimes. So it's a project that I had to kind of push out of my mind because it's just not the right time for it. Right now I want to concentrate on doing these cards. As soon as I have a little bit more time, I'll be going back on that project, the playing cards that I'm doing, which I'm very, very excited about. Just haven't had the time to do much this year, but like I was saying, giving myself the entire year to do it. So I'm sure I'll find time at some point. You love the transition color? Thanks. I'm trying to keep it like, I don't know, like I don't want to render it too much, but I feel like the more I'm going to push it, the more I'm going to ending up rendering it. I would have to study that artist that I was talking about earlier, this Ukrainian artist. She does, I don't know, she does marvelous things with her colors. It's about, I think it's about understanding values mostly. Once you understand values, you can play with the way your colors are shown. You know, you can decide to use a very different color to express the skin and things that you would expect a certain color, like the skin, for example. Yeah. Like the skin can be green, can be blue, can be purple. If you understand values, you'll still be able to pull it off. And I understand the principle. I just didn't took the time to practice it. So maybe I should do that at some point. And then once I understand it, I'll be able to teach it to you guys. Which is still what I prefer to do. Zed, you are saying, do you have any tips for studying lighting? I know how it affects form, but I struggle with understanding how it affects colors. Yes, I mean, taking a class is my first advice to you. If you haven't found one, definitely join the DPA. Inside the DPA, I have more knowledge about it. But it's a mix of understanding. Light theory and color harmonies to get started. Once you understand those two, it will definitely help you. Like for example, right now, my color harmony that I could see here is kind of a complementary color where you have oranges and blues. You know, like this is ultimately an orange color, and then yeah, you got obviously like the blue of the sky, and you have some, what is this one? You have this blue kind of thing. So those are the color I'm playing with. And then it's just there's a bit of trial and error and everything that any artists do. But once you start understanding these principles, you can play with them. Who are your top influential artists? They change all the time. Some stays, some go, but they change all the time. It depends on what I'm trying to learn or get better at. It's been a few years now that one of the artists that I'm following that I really like the work, his name is Max Greke. He's a Swedish artist, if I remember correctly. I love what he does with shapes. And shapes was definitely one of the components that I want to get better at. How to simplify shapes into everything that I do. Portraiture, characters, you name it, landscape. And he has just this amazing style. So I've been looking at his stuff for a few years and still trying to push my shapes. So that's one. Loish has been on top of my list for years. I really love what she does. She's also have a really good understanding of shapes. Because I understand lighting correctly enough to render everything that I want and even paint from imagination. I understand perspective enough for the most part to paint what I like to paint. But there's a place where perspective meets shape design that is super hard to master, at least for me, and I'm still working on this day on it. So there's that. when it comes to artists that I'm looking at. There's other artists that I've been following for a few years that I like their careers. One that comes to mind is Sam Spratt. Sam Spratt, I used to follow him like 10, 15 years ago, and he was doing a lot of commercial work, and he was really good at it. Sorry, Instagram, I'm outside. And like last year or 2 years ago, he built his own personal NFT project. And when NFT started, I started to have like offers from people coming at me and be like, hey, do you want to create an NFT for me? And I'm like, no. I feel like NFT is a ripoff for every artist. It's either they put crap as an NFT, or they go to the artist and pay them pennies and then make a ton of money on the NFTs. But the way Sam Spratt did it, he was able to create his own NFT project in a brilliant way and made millions out of it. So he's a huge source of inspiration. There's a lot of people that feel like with AI, there's a lot of uncertainties as artists, and for sure, but there's still a lot of possibilities and opportunities that can be done, and that's one of them. Creating your own NFT project. So I've been thinking about it. I am using only one brush right now. Yeah, absolutely. Alright, you guys, I'm going to cut it short for today. That's going to be it. I need to jump to other things, but I want to thank you so much for joining me once again live. I'll be back next week, same time. I'm looking forward to see your action poses in the tribe. If you're not there yet, it's an amazing community. Go check it out. There's a link either below the video or in the bio. Have a great day. Happy painting, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.